Happy Wednesday. So happy that you are sharing your lunchtime with us today. We are going to share some really great information, hopefully make it worth your while, and tell you about our experience using AI and particularly to help you meet your new TA, AI in the classroom and team projects. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off now. Welcome. My name is Amber Dailey-Hebert. I'm a professor of adult and organizational learning and director of our Transformative Teaching and Learning Center at TLC. And I'm here with my awesome colleague.
I'm Gwen Fitzpatrick, one of the instructional designers with the digital learning team that's also part of TLC.
So Gwen and I worked on this project together, and I'm so thrilled to have her, that we can co-present this together. Today's session, we're going to unpack how to build a custom agent or your own customized chatbot, why we chose to use AI at all, and the impact it had on the student learning experience based on the research I conducted in the fall one term. So in terms of the why use AI in the course at all? This was not just a using technology for the sake of using technology. We were pretty intentional about this. First, I wanted to offer more student autonomy and anonymity to ask questions about the class and to kind of create a really safe space for them to do that if they weren't comfortable for whatever reason asking that in front of the class or directly to me as an instructor. Previously, I had a shared syllabus document, like a shared Google Doc, where they could anonymously ask questions or annotate that, and then I would go back in and answer those questions for them. AI was going to allow us to level that up. And so that was one of the reasons we wanted to have real-time, immediate feedback to students and student support related to the questions that they might be asking in the class. So if they were working on this at 2 o'clock in the morning, we wanted them to be able to ask the chatbot any questions that they had related to the class and not have to wait for me or to annotate a syllabus. We also really wanted to build up their digital literacy for responsible AI use, not just in my course, but throughout our program and in their workplace, because this is a growing disruptive technology, and we really need to start building some digital literacy for our students and how to use it well and how to use it ethically and responsibly. So that's kind of the why AI was integrated into the
Hi
course.
there, I'm
Here's
Ava, your virtual assistant and go-to-study buddy for this course. Think of me as your always-on, always-here support system. Need a deadline reminder? A boost of motivation? A wellness tip? I've got you. Whether you're feeling confident or a little overwhelmed, you're not alone. Ask me anything course-related anytime. I'm here to help you stay on track and make this a truly awesome learning adventure.
So that's just a really quick preview of Ava. So we named her Ava, Amber's virtual assistant. And Ava was included both on the course homepage as well as we created a dedicated page in the main menu just called Ask Ava. And so they could click on her and engage and ask any questions related to the course. And this included several things. We uploaded, but for starters, first, we also wanted to have a very basic primer for understanding AI use and responsible AI use. So I also built just this understanding AI module. And so it kind of goes through to help educate the learners on exactly what AI is, how large language models work. And I integrated a few just kind of 3-minute videos here. Again, just kind of giving them, and then also just a plethora of the tools, different AI tools. A lot of people use just ChatGPT, but there's a lot of different ones, and how they can support specific levels of learning as well. And so there was some to how do I use AI for whatever. But also in terms of how to use AI responsibly, how to protect themselves while using AI and the risks that it runs. So this was also kind of how to proceed with caution, how to protect yourself using AI, what to be aware of if you are tending to use it in the incorrect ways, and how to avoid cognitive offloading as well. and the focus on human-based decision making. So again, just some tips, some best practices based on the research that is out there on how to use it well. So again, then the last section was on how do I use it for this class. So I go into much more specifics on not only how to use it, but had a framework on 5 different levels of permission for AI use, which we'll be sharing this with you guys at the end as well. You're welcome to integrate this whole module into your own classes if you'd like. So this isn't just for my class. You are all welcome to use this if you would like. So this created 5 levels of AI permission. Level 1 is no AI use at all. Level 2 is AI planning. And these are the ways you can use it. AI level 3 is AI collaboration. This requires citation. And then this link down here, APA citation support, also shows exactly how you can use it, whether you just need an assistant statement or if you're taking anything directly from AI, actually citing it and showing them how to do that. So I use this not just in the class and saying, okay, here's level 2 use for the class. It's per assignment. So I can say for this assignment, there's level 1, no AI use. For assignment in week 2, there's level 2 AI use. So again, it's very explicit for the students. And then I also kind of practice what we preach, giving my own assistant statement and references of how I used AI to create that module. So this was just kind of the basics for them to give them a primer that I felt was needed for everyone, for students and faculty probably alike. But that is how, so that understanding AI module was in that class for them. And then, we launched AI in the course, as I mentioned, and then also modified a team project to include AI as one of their team members. So while they were creating their team charter of what leverage, what talents and strengths do we have on each member of our team, AI was also one of their team members. And they had to really think about what benefits could AI bring to them as a teammate. So that's kind of how it was used in my class that I taught fall 1. Some points for consideration: really had to ensure security, right? So I turned off and also had to turn off, as did Gwen, sharing that large language model and teach my students how to do that. That's also in the module and shows them explicitly how to do that. So removing my name, personal information, any identifiers that might have been in a regular syllabus needed to be removed before that was uploaded into the large language model. And again, Gwen and I turned off the settings so that anything that was entered into our chatbot was only explicit to our chatbot and not shared with the large language model as a whole. Because what we uploaded was the course syllabus, the assignments, the rubrics, and the project guidebooks. So in the class, I have a guidebook that takes the students through the whole term of every activity, every assignment, and it's just a downloadable guidebook. So that also, all of that was uploaded into the chatbot. Or I don't even call it chatbot, into our Ava. So Ava could respond with those. Now, one thing to also keep in mind is if I decided to change any dates, modify assignments or whatever, that also would need to be re-uploaded into Ava. So just something to keep in mind. You want to keep things pretty locked in. If you're going to make changes, make them all before you upload to your chatbot. So now that you know kind of the why behind it, Gwen's going to tell you the how, because something that I learned too was, I was trying to build my own chatbot on my own. I did not have a paid account through ChatGPT. So I had some limitations. So it was only after I partnered with Gwen that we were really able to take it to the level I was hoping to achieve in the class. So Gwen's going to tell you about the how now.
You do have to have the paid version of ChatGPT in order to create your virtual assistant. So the first thing that we had to do was we had to decide what Ava's purpose was going to be. How were we going to make her trustworthy so that the students felt comfortable asking her questions and that she really did know the information that she was being asked. Then we had to map out the key use cases. We identified what the top interactions were going to be, which were answering questions, guiding decisions where Ava could add value. I added wellness tips in there. I added study tips in there just different things that the students could use when they asked Ava a question. And then I got to create what Ava's voice and personality was. So I gave Ava a warm, concise, and reliable tone so that this, again, the students would trust her. And then I taught Ava how to handle different situations. Everything that I uploaded to her gave her clear guidance on how to respond in different scenarios. So it's just simply uploading information, and then it loads it into Ava or whoever your virtual assistant is, and then they can tell you anything that you have given them to give the answers to them. Next slide.
Mhm.
So, and then I integrated with internal tools in API. I connected Ava to live systems and data so she can talk and have real actions, not just talk. I used another tool which is called StudioD.id, which I was where I created avatars that actually the mouth moves and it looks like that the avatar is actually talking. And then, like Amber said, you have to continuously train and refine. So you reviewed the conversations. If there's anything new or something has changed, you just have to update that information, and then you update the link where Ava or your virtual assistant is housed.
And
And
when
it
we
was
say
super
update, it's
fun.
basically just uploading the material, like just re-uploading a document. One thing I will say, I was so thankful to have partnered with Gwen on this because I was originally just thinking of Ava as answering my class questions, my content, questions that like, when is that assignment due again? Those kinds of things. And then Gwen brought in, well, why don't we add some wellness tips, like some check-ins and making sure they're doing well, or if they have imposter syndrome, here are some ways to support that. And I thought that was really a great move. So that way we could not only support any questions they had about the course, but also just supporting them as students. They might be able to to share some concerns or you know, difficulties they're having and get some support from the chatbot as well. I want to support them in any capacity as a human too, but loading some resources in there for that was also great. We could also do that if we wanted to upload resources on the Student Support Center or different things. So there are ways to think about your support for students even beyond just the course text. So those were a few things. So now the what factor. So this is the impact. I wanted to make sure to research the impact this was going to have. So this course was taught in fall one. Granted, this is a small sample size. This was only a class with 9 students, but I measured for online graduate student perceptions of comfort level and self-efficacy using these measures and these scales. I measured for AI literacy and responsible use. And then I also measured for cognition and cognitive offloading tendencies. So that's what I looked at in the research of having students use this. And while there's lots of data in there, I won't get into the weeds of it. I will give you just kind of the high level findings. So what we did find was during the term, they improved confidence in AI use, understanding AI capabilities and limitations, comfort asking AI tools for help, and then also improved comfort on choosing the appropriate AI tool as well. They did believe that AI helped them reduce their mental workload, it reduced their mental effort during tasks, and it freed cognitive space to focus on higher order tasks. However, they also found themselves remembering less when they used AI to assist them. So part of that cognitive offloading we could already see happening a bit. Um, and this may be unique for graduate students versus undergraduates. So again, I do want to be mindful of this, but what they felt more confident in their cognitive abilities while using AI when it wasn't available. So they didn't feel that it was changing their cognitive abilities. And the primary uses for AI were for brainstorming, for outlining ideas, and to improve their writing. Those were the 3 primary uses where they leaned on AI. And so those were kind of some of the bigger pieces. I think there was important value to be had in that introductory module to introduce them to AI, though, because it really highlighted the limitations of AI and the dangers of cognitive offloading and what the research is saying about that. So the graduate students, some of the insights they shared, I'll let both the good and the bad. I wanted to share both sides of that coin, or I shouldn't say good and bad, but just varying levels of perspective. Gwen's going to tell you about a couple, and then I'll read the others.
I was pushing my students to use AI, but I wasn't taking any accountability for myself to really learn how I could use it. And this class highlighted the gap for me. I should be able to use it fluently, and I saw how to create images and how to fact check our AI teammate materials. And now I feel better about using it. I think this course with AI in it was helpful and that we should be trained on how to use it. We need to be ethical and responsible users of it and need to be proficient in it.
So that's where they saw the value. And then some of the concerns that they had as well. These are direct student quotes on both sides. The concern is to pick up bad habits of not doing the proper research and fact checking of your work. Another student said, my concern was with how quickly AI learned my speech pattern and was able to write similar to my voice. And then lastly, a student said, while a brainstorming tool can be valuable, I prefer to brainstorm with other human individuals. I feel more confident and connected to others around me when speaking with others, and utilizing AI always feels like cheating my own mind out of making connections myself. So those were some of the student insights that came from the focus groups and also direct quotes just on the pros and cons of AI use. So the takeaway for us, and again, this was our first attempt at this. There were a lot of lessons learned along the way, as well as what the research showed us. Key takeaways was the priority is really about digital literacy development. I feel like it's so important to invest in creating materials to help in responsible use of AI with our students. Also, to clearly share what is and is not acceptable use in your courses and assignments. Assuming that they will have to just guess and figure it out if you are not explicit with this leaves them in a very precarious position. So I think having very, very clear directions for not just your course in general, but for every assignment, I think is something we as faculty and instructors need to think about. And then also, we would recommend small integrations or optional integrations. So, for example, if nobody wanted to use AI, they didn't necessarily have to. So, for example, Ava was an optional integration. They could ask it questions if they wanted to and didn't have to use it if not. The small integration, however, was with the AI as a teammate. So integrating that was the other piece of it. So I didn't have to completely reconfigure entire assignments or activities. There were some small changes that we made, and that's how I would recommend thinking about AI integrations if that is something you're considering or would like to do. So those were at least the key takeaways for us.
Hi, I'm Talia, TLC's Digital Learning Guide, and I am here to help make using AI easier, more transparent, and just a bit more human. I've been designed to support you in the moments that matter, whether that's answering a quick question, guiding you through a process, or just helping you stay one step ahead. My goal: to be helpful, reliable, and easy to talk to every time you need a hand. I'm excited to be part of this journey with you, and I'll be right here when you're ready to explore what's next.
So we thought the best way to end this lunch and learn was to build a chatbot for you to ask questions about how to create your own custom chatbot. So Gwen created Talia. We've also, and I will be putting this into the chat, also built an infographic here of questions you can ask Talia, whether it's teaching with AI, creating and adapting AI, lesson and assessment design. These are all things she is equipped to help support you on and with questions about. I'll let Gwen tell you a little bit more about this, and then I'll be putting links to resources on step-by-step guides. So we built some documents. Again, I'll be linking them or directly embedding them in the chat. But you will now have Talia to ask questions to if you have any questions about AI use or how to build your own chatbot. You'll have our step-by-step guide for doing so, as well as the step-by-step guide for if you wanted to build your avatar beyond just the chatbot, as Gwen has done. So I'll let her tell you a little bit more about that while I drop some stuff into the chat.
Yeah, I thought it was important that you could actually see a virtual assistant or a chatbot in action. So I created one just for this presentation, and you get to take Talia with you. So wherever you have a computer, you can access Talia, and all of the information about today's session is in there. There's information about AI, how to use it. I created a detailed step-by-step document that tells you what to do to create your own virtual assistant from open chat GPT. So it's step by step. And then the other document that tells you what kind of questions. But I really think that as educators and as professors and staff, it is our job to teach students how to use AI authentically, efficiently, and purposefully, because AI is not going anywhere. So it's kind of like when the calculator came out, nobody wanted us to use the calculator, but AI is not going anywhere, so we might as well learn how to use it. So, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. And I hope that you'll find the resources helpful.
So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for just even showing up, being interested in the topic. Of course, Gwen and I are we are your first line of questioning. We are more than happy to answer any questions you have. However, if we are not available and you would like to ask Talia, feel free. If you find glitches, let us know. It's something that's a work in progress for us as well. And if you have other ideas, we would love to learn more from you.
Yeah,
So
I
thanks
would
for
love
joining.
to get your feedback on what you think of Talia.
Yeah.
Thank
All right.
you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
This was great.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.